sitting down with Paper Lab Studios featured artists here who just want to do a little question and answer segment to show people that they're actually real people and not AI. So yeah,
fireside chats, guys.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. But we'll come to that conclusion by the end of this interview. So, Jake, did you have a question for them?
Are you holograms?
You know what? Sometimes.
Fair.
Actually, yeah, I was born in the beautiful island of Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's what you've told me.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I've told you.
Your light projections.
Well, I was born in Jamaica, came to school here in the late 90s, and studied media arts and animation at a school that no longer exists. And you may have heard of the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale?
That old thing.
Or all the art institutes, they don't exist anymore. I never got my money back because I paid off my my tuition. So yeah, I actually studied art, been drawing since I was a child. You've heard the story a billion times. And yeah, I'm here. I'm keeping it simple because I can go on. I can talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I know. You ain't lying.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
I'm a hologram. Beam me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm from Miami, and I went to an art college out in Kansas City, Missouri, and then I moved back to Miami because I needed the beach. And during college, I started doing artist alleys at conventions, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And I've just been doing it professionally ever since.
That's pretty cool. We met because of the convention scene. That wasn't my primary thing at the time. It kind of became a thing as, we got to know each other. Yeah.
So what would you guys say is like each of your moment that sparked your passion and your interest that decided to make it a career?
You can go first. I have like maybe 2 or 3 main, we call those things fixed points in time.
Canon events.
Yeah, canon events.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, no, definitely in college when I started doing them, I was like surprised even at like how much money that like I could make in like a weekend, and I was like, oh, okay, this is actually like potential viable career path, I think, if I took it seriously, because it was like juggling school and this whole other thing like between then was a lot. So and I've always loved conventions, so it was more or less an excuse to kind of work and play at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm sure I met you sometime during that period. I just didn't know it was you. I know you said there was a specific time we definitely crossed paths and you were dressed as Luffy, but I didn't know you and you didn't know me, so it was,
Look at this guy wearing a hat.
Yeah, exactly. Who's this guy? I didn't know who Luffy was. I was like, why is this guy wearing this straw hat with like a red vest? Like, weirdo. So yeah. In my case, it's a little tricky. So I started drawing since I was a little kid. And comics, when it came to Jamaica, we don't really have a market, so it was a newsstand thing, but not even newsstands like here. It was very spotty. So my mother would travel. She'd go to wherever, and she'd like have this like treasure trove of comics that she'd hide. I didn't know. I just thought she'd buy like one comic and bring it home. So she would dole them out and whatnot. And I remember I had this Conan comic. I don't know why a little child had a Conan comic. But I had this Conan comic and I traced from it like constantly till the comic would just disintegrate, right? So the reason why this was very important is because, and I actually did a small 2-page comic on it. So I traced whatever and I would learn to draw that way. And I remember I'd show my sister and she'd be like, why are you tracing? Draw the stuff yourself. So then I started trying to draw the stuff myself very hard. And that took years. I was learning from all sorts of people, from that Conan comic, which had Barry Windsor Smith, to Rob Liefeld. You know what I mean? And then going on to people like, Frank Quietly and whatnot. They did inspire me throughout the years. Then the second canon event is when, I didn't really take the art thing seriously. I did maybe some classes in summer. This is still in Jamaica. At the time, at the last part of high school, graduated in 5th form, which I forgot what year that is for you guys. And then I graduated, and then I moved on to sixth form. And in sixth form, I was doing A-level law, so that was gonna be my path. I went to a thing, my first critique, and it was, because I was still drawing. It wasn't a serious thing; it was still drawing. Went to my first critique. It was a thing where we volunteered to go to this thing, and an artist or an animator was there, like big Jamaican animator in Europe. Showed my stuff, and he said, "Oh, it's derogatory." I was like, in my head, I'm like, "Oh, that's incorrect use of that word. It's a terrible critique." But I didn't say. All that was in my head. I just said, "Okay," because that's the first time anybody like professional had ever seen my stuff. I walked away, and then I went to a boys' school. So my guy friends came up, and then we went with our sister school, and the girls saw me. And they came up and they're like, "Oh, how did it go?" Because they were like, "Oh, you're such a good artist and whatnot." Before, and how did it go? And then I just bust up crying. Yeah, right? Like, exactly. This is like, I'm like 16, 17 at this point. I'm like, oh, I just couldn't, because I just couldn't, whatever. And then that weekend, my sister saw me sulking in the corner. Like, I was just by my home. I was home by myself, and she came by. And then she was asking, "So why does this matter?" I told her the thing, and then she's, "Why does this matter so much? You're going to be a lawyer. Like, you're gonna do law, like who cares?" And then I was like, "Well, and it's like, well, it sounds like you shouldn't be doing law then." So she doesn't even remember any of these, by the way. She doesn't remember the first one or the second one when I bring it up to her. And
not a candidate.
the third one is right. Not a candidate. And then the third one's a little tricky. It's when it's just overall the fact that having traditional Jamaican parents that were so supportive in like doing this magical thinking profession. That's not a typical, situation. So
that's how he became a doctor.
Yes, and that's why I am now billing your insurance.
Can I ask you one follow up? At one point, did both of you you had to have done this, but study from Draw Comics the Marvel Way, introduced by Stan Lee in the 1990s. I just want to know when that came across your table.
Well,
yeah.